Okay, let's do it. I'm going to be playing 25 and L again, and we are gonna crush. Positive winning mentality. We're just murk everyone. That's the plan. No taking no shit. It's coming for everyone's stacks. All right. S- okay, for some reason I don't have deal. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. I made this a little bit smaller. That should be good. Okay, actually I'm tempted to call fours with a cold caller and 8-7 is not always an open, but with a tight big blind you can just about do it. And so yeah, fours I would never play as a free bet in this situation, but just with against a min open, against what looked like a fish opening, and with the button cold caller giving us some slightly better odds, I thought we would have a go. But you don't have to make that call. Slightly smaller size, we will call. Just going to be folding with nothing. Okay, okay. Uh, it's kind of marginal here. Can do some bluffing. May have some showdown equity. Really, he does look like a fish, so he's probably got more like, Queen Jack, Jack 9 suited, maybe like some 5-4. So we will just be checking back and face the ace 9. Yeah, so just gonna be folding until we get a hand, pretty much. Pretty much. Okay, here we go. So Jacks, that is as good as they come. Checking it back. Face an overbet, which is very interesting. It's really now just a question of do we want to raise. He looks like a player that may be capable of barreling again. If he's got a 10, we're probably gonna get paid either way. So we just put the delay call in there just to make him think. Okay, now we go smaller. Um, so he overbet, then went smaller. He is pretty much saying he is a 10 all day long. So I think we will just probably just delay and then shove. He snaps with a 10. So yeah, that was a nice hand. So yeah, I could have just raised him there on the turn just because the overbet sizing is quite underbluffed, even in a sort of unfiltered range scenario. So we will just take a no over bet, then smaller, likely very over strong. We kind of believe this anyway, but nevertheless we will, you know, we will make a note of it. So, mass data says basically if a player is to overbet and then to size down on the river, it is likely to be very underbluffed. And you might think, an overbet and then an overbet is underbluffed anyway, which it is, but the type of player um, that will bluff with overbets will often go overbet, not overbet size down. Uh, so I guess it's kind of like a psychological thing. Um, if you're gonna rep a big hand massively, are you then gonna size down? So yeah, you will see, when you face, you know, 150% and then, 2/3 or even 2/3 to a third, that's just very strong. And so us checking back that flop, even though it is pretty much just a caller, us checking back that flop probably allowed him to believe even more so that he was ahead there. So it's possible you might have seen me not get all of the chips if it had been a different line. So I think he's actually gone small enough for us to call. Kind of a weird spot. Yeah, I feel like we can just call this because he's just gone. He's probably got a very tight range, but he did go very small. And then we will just be folding with nothing. But yeah, with four players calling, he's prob he's meant to go more to the range of like $4 or even more than that. So we've just got fairly good odds to call there. The range is probably aces, kings, queens, and ace king. So he did look tight, so there is that. Uh, it's gonna go to 110. Really just depends. He, the Chinese players are often quite tight, but if he is over limping his hand, King 7 is very strong there. And here, King 3 offsuit is also quite a loose open, but against the stats as tight as those, I'm gonna go very wide. And some checking back. Probably just gonna try to get a showdown on the left. Our ace does have some showdown value. Ace queen. Okay. But there's not really much value here. It's also kind of an underbluff spot. 7-6, yeah, the flush draw. So yeah, you just bet the flop small. Smaller, maybe smaller with FD check. So yeah, just kind of making a note there. Fact that he went small with his draw might might kind of indicate that we won't see that much big betting with his bluffs. So he might very much be a bet size equals his strength of hand type of player. Meaning if he had hit big, we might see, like half pot, two thirds, and just one third when he's when he's marginal hands and his good draws. Um, and that's kind of you're not sure, but it's still kind of good to note these things down, even if it just increases the chance slightly that the player's going to make a certain action with a certain hand. Opening quite wide today against the tight looking players. We probably can just range bet. Although, of course, I'm not actually range betting, uh, but kind of exploitively, I feel like even I can just bet a hand as strong as 5-4 offsuit there. Uh, or strong, or you could more say that's weak, but yeah, that did get through. Okay, I'm just gonna fold this one mainly just because I took too long to act, and it's very marginal anyway. You won't see most of the players go crazy on time and tells, but nevertheless, just in case. Small edges can, you know, make all the difference to your win rate. Okay, so we get free bet here. Uh, we actually can do some calling with queens in position. Probably against this board. Maybe against a delay bet if he goes a third we'll call once. He does. I'm very tempted to bluff this if he lets me. I think I'm just gonna go a third and then shove. Seems very unsure if he wants to call. He does the shove, which is unfortunate. Uh, he's probably. I mean, it's kind of interesting what he would do that with. Like, I'm almost guessing that that's actually he's bluffing with like a king queen with one diamond sort of type hand. Maybe he's got like an ace king, ace 10, something like that. We did hit our queens on the river, which is slightly annoying. Yeah, so basically what we had planned there was to bet one third and then shove the river, but he has pretty much just, well, most likely he may have trapped me, but I think it's more likely that he's just gone for it with with the stack to pot ratio, a lot to win in the pot. And that happens sometimes. Probably actually worth noting. Just fold these hands for a minute while I make my note. There we go. Free bet. Bet pots. Okay, 8. Could go either way here. I actually quite like a bluff. Got a lot of nines and jacks. Big blinds fairly wide. Does have tight stats. He may just have too many aces. Yeah. And yeah, pocket eights there. When facing a check, you can just go for it. It's a bit like, I know it's not like a traditional bluff, but it's quite bottom of your range. In that you won't really beat much at showdown, and you also have quite your opponents have quite good equity against your hand along the way, especially multi-way. They're more likely to, two players are more likely to connect with, a queen or a king, turn or river, and there's a fair chance you can make your players overfold against your aggression in that spot. Oh, I was gonna raise that. I need some more time bank. 6-5, 6-5, 6-5. I think we want to call here. Queen 10. I'm gonna be doing some checking. It's not the best player to do it against. He does seem kind of tight, but we will go for the small check raise and shut down unless we pick up equity. Yeah, he just has a massive hand from the looks of it. Probably just on pocket eights. Maybe ace king. So there, although that may look a bit strange, often players will react quite poorly to your check raises in that they will overfold, and often you will see them overstab when check two as well. So then they're facing quite a weak range against your check raise, and they just struggle to defend against it. There we may have run into the small amount of people in the pool that actually are doing some free betting to defend against your check raises, or he just had a big hand, which is very possible. Here we hit our straight. think do I want to go small here? I'm gonna size up. This does fold. They are gonna against these stats, I think we actually just call our ace queen suited. Of course, we're calling that flop. Goes a third. Calling again, hoping to hit. And we will likely just... I'm not sure how much showdown value this is again going to have against this guy. But I'm not sure we really want to be bluffing what's probably a lot of King X. So yeah, he's got a hand as strong as King 6 for whatever reason. He's just a very tight player there. I don't even believe he was trapping. I just believe somehow he's frightened with his what's top two pair, is it? Almost. Okay. Just gonna go a bit smaller in case we do run into it against the tighter looking player. Against that player type, I don't see us really getting called more or 4-bet more regardless of sizing. Small bet, but from well, it's not actually that small. It's fair. It's somewhat standard. But very tight stats. So obviously getting rid of it. Opening the Jack 7. This is kind of a marginal. We'll be doing some betting on the ace. It's often overfolded. Players always seem to put you on the ace. So here King 5 is just an open in the hijack. But I was considering a fold as there was 4 players on the table playing over 27% VPIP. So essentially, if they're free betting, if there are very few players in the pool that are actually free betting more than you're supposed to. King 5 being at the bottom of my range is not really what the hands I want to have. Obviously, you could kind of then get into this sort of adjustment, like you're free betting too much. Now I'm going to 4-bet you. But I would rather just have a strong hand against that particular player. Just gonna bet my ace jack here. It's not really a spot where they bluff that much with the ace. Just maybe get some. It's kind of like the aces are kind of like a hard sort of board to get value from. I almost like them more as a bluff than actually having the ace. This is kind of marginal here. 5-4 suited. Really, really, you open it because it benefits quite heavily from the fold equity. So if you were to see especially aggressive table, I would just fold it, and then you kind of see like a mix of tight and strong players. You can kind of go either way. In GTO, it's just basically a mix of an open. Like you open it, 20, 25% of the time for balance, board coverage, things like that. So you actually can do some calling with sevens deep stacked, I do believe. This is about as good as the boards get for me. Let's see what he comes with. So we do just hit our straight. How do we want to play it? I think he will struggle to fold an overbear to one bet, and he probably won't bluff much either. Uh, kind of. Oh wow, wow! I am. This is really an interesting spot here. Um, we pretty much got the nuts. I guess he's got like tens. Hope, and then we hope he bluffs again. This is now he might shut down. However, kind of a confusing spot, and he just smashes it. Wow. I mean, it's very interesting. Do we have to, so he checked back nines. He could do that. He raised me on the turn. I mean, nines is like the only hand he has. It is an underbluff spot. I think we have to call. Wow, what big pot. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thanks, mate. Good play to you too. So yeah, he's kind of he's attacked my small bet there on the turn as I was kind of I, I was kind of under repping my hand to get a call from his overpairs despite the scary board, but then he's decided to raise me. He's basically trying to say you don't have any of that. Uh, but of course, being deep stacked, I did just call my pocket seven, so I um yeah, his plays interesting. I'd have to look it up if that's normal by him there, but I think it's mainly kind of exploitative by him to go for it, which may not be bad against players in general, but yes, like, I'm not going to be folding my pocket sevens, my pocket eights, my pocket nines there. He may just be putting me on, more like pocket tens, pocket jacks, maybe ace king like him, things like that. And yeah, it was just kind of a tough spot because you do more calling with pocket pairs against my free bet than four betting. So he could we get the quick check back very deep. The ace we will probably just bluff. Uh, it's just a good card to bluff. Fold out all his king eyes, a lot of his pocket pairs. Not going to be sure what to do there and probably actually get rid of it. here we could go either way. It's more of a betting hand though. Yeah, I do a lot of checking back just to try and make them over aggress. But that hand we do benefit quite heavily from our opponent folding. Kind of an underbluffed board here by our opponent. Do possibly have enough equity though. We maybe beat some ace high bluffs, but I don't think we win much against that size. I think we just face a lot of flushes. Yeah, and my read on him is quite nitty. My bet would be just flop the flush. Kind of an underbluff texture here, just gonna be letting it go. And yeah, we just need to really try and refocus after that 200 big blind pot. Just it's an interesting spot that he's just leading. And now he checks. I think I multi-way against this particular type of player. I am tempted to put a bet out there. It's kind of he was showing to be like a clear recreational earlier in the hand, but it's also kind of a board that's hard for him to call on the river. %17 pre-flop raise. Just basically tightening up my range more to value against these particular players. So putting more of like what would be sort of a value raise against another player into my calling range, having less bluffs, and yeah, just it's pretty much that simple. You just got to tighten up against the tighter players when they do show aggression in the hand. Like right now, he's got a lot of overpairs. I think we can actually. Do we want to bluff it? I think we actually do just want to bluff it. Yeah, and he folds pocket kings, is it? Yep. So he's just basically capped his range, and the board got very scary. It's kind of a matter of that I don't believe that particular type of player to have any trapped flushes on that river, or probably even have any flushes at all. He also has none of the real sets and full houses in his range. So when he's capped himself to aces and kings on a scary board, I believe it's profitable just to put it in. King Queen is sort of a calling hand in general blind v blind, but against a Chinese player, I will be folding. And yeah, with that bluff hand before, like ace queen suited, you have it having a misdraw is not the best bluffing candidate to go with, because basically you block their possible misdraws, which is obviously one of the hands that they're going to fold against aggression. So it's like basically you're more likely to be against value hands, but that was quite basically very exploitative by me I just knew what he had, 'cause he, and yeah, I didn't believe he would call in all in. He's very much the type of player type to uh, always think his hand is no good. You know, there's a flush on the board, there's a straight on the board, and they get scared. Ace tens are normally an open, but against tight stats, I don't really see the need. Because it's more of an opening hand, more of a value open. Just you get called by, like king queen, queen jack, queen ten. A lot of these hands are actually beaten. Uh, but when his opening range tightens, I feel like I'm just gonna be against more hands that beat me than I should be. Think we just put it in, or we give him a chance. I think now we put it in against the snap. That's pretty much just from the look at the player type and the snap check back flop. We believe we're ahead, and we also believe we may see some, uh, pretty desperate calls by him there. It's gonna be opening. We might get aggressed here. Don't. It's kind of, yeah. But what we can do is we can range bet this hand, I do believe. You can maybe even size up. Yep, that's a pretty good card for us. It's gonna be going pot. Just scare him out of there. He had a Considering it's the bomb pot, he probably called the flop fairly wide, and also he looks like the player type. That's not gonna be making many heroes. So, and also that pot size, I know it might look like a bit of a weird size to use, but I think in practice it's quite scary to face. So I expect it to be quite overfolded on the turn. So it's kind of like what I will do is like I'll go pot on the turn, and then because I expect it to be overfolded, I won't then bluff the river. Yeah, we'll be betting the ace if he doesn't. Good for him if he puts me on my hand. He probably just had a, yeah. So I wasn't range betting on the left there against, once again, the tighter range. It's just betting into a very strong range isn't what I love to do. But then on the ace, even though he connects quite well with it, he didn't bet it, and you will likely see that card overfolded, so I decided to put the bet in there. Didn't work out that time, but there's always next time. The So yeah, it's not the best board for him to bluff. We also don't really have any bluffs. Yeah, actually no, we do. We have missed draws. We'll put one bet out there. Did he call me with jacks or fold? I think he folded. It's a good fold. Okay, it's a fairly good call fold. Could be bullied. And that's just me basically saying he's he's open for business on the bluffs. He's gonna be calling in the big blind. I don't really know how he's gonna react against raise. I think at this particular time, especially as it's more of a delay, I was gonna check raise. Jack high does actually have some showdown value, so I'm just gonna be checking this river. Small bet, kind of interesting. Do we want to look him up against a third? Probably not. It's tempting. I'd probably call my queen eyes. On this, against these players, I will open pocket fours and be folding. So yes, this session's gone quite well. Discussion's gone. It's been an interesting one. 257. Could go even bigger than that, but that's fine. I think I just like a bet here. It's not the most, you're kind of towards the top of your straight range, and it's not really the most bluff texture when checked to. So just with all my equity, I just maybe get some value from these weaker aces or flush draws would have been nice. kind of marginal. Fives is normally a call, but against a tighter range, it's not always brilliant. We will, however, be putting a bet out here against two checks. That's good for us, and just get it through. Against one player, you can do some checking back, but against three, I kind of like betting that hand. Or, I mean, against two others. Basically, it just, you get a lot of value from just equity denial with pocket fives there. If they've both got, ace 10 and queen king there, that's a lot of overcards, and chances are it's a higher chance you won't be good by the river. And also facing the check's always nice. A lot of players will just bet their strongest hands. So we will just be betting, calling a raise if we face it. Yeah, here we just bet again. Doesn't really matter what size, I don't believe. Could arguably even go a third here. He does have some aces that connect. I guess he's probably just two ace heavy here. Maybe occasionally we beat like 10 queen of diamonds. Okay, it's a good, interesting call by him turn. I wasn't sure he's capable of it. Maybe facing our half pot, he did go for that. Interesting. We'll take a note of that. Because it's kind of cool. So I do have history with this guy, but it's not recent. Gonna go caps. Turn 9 suited, 6 burst hijack. Gonna be checking here, but he could go either way. He's not the best player to face bets again, so I'm not really sure what I want to do here. We just go a third, kind of under rep. Now we probably just want to bet. Probably just hope he thinks I'm bluffing. He might. I do have plenty of overpairs that might take this line. He just seems like the type of tight player. Oh, he called. Oh, okay, wow. I mean, I think we have to call, but once again, I'm kind of confused what he's gonna have here. Oh, the flush does get there. That was actually a mistake by me. Didn't even realize the flush was there. Alright, so we're just never good. I mean, good for him if this is a bluff, but the chances are very slim. Yeah, I mean, you kind of can still bet ace-5 here, but I would have probably had gone smaller. I mean, I don't hate it. To be honest, I don't hate it. Since I am getting too distracted uh to see when the flush comes in, I'll just play till the blinds, and that will be that.
Just gonna range bet the queen deuce here. It's kind of awkward. I'm just gonna bet it. Short stack. Do get check raised. Obviously not gonna be calling that. So it's kind of a mixed board. It's kind of very under bluff, so we will just fold the turn. He may not put us on some tens and go for it himself. He was the player recently with the ace five, but my guess is he's just a nit that got there. King nine, fair enough. So we could actually turn our hand into a bluff on this particular board, but nevertheless, that was a good session, and I'm gonna continue making daily videos. So subscribe and watch again.